What is up, you guys? So today I have the keys to the Toyota Camry TRD. Now, this is a very interesting car because this is Toyota's first attempt at making a from-the-factory sporty Camry. So in this video, we're gonna go over every detail. You guys already know the deal, so let's go ahead and jump into it. Hi everybody, so we are going to get into the exterior of course, but I have a list here of things that Toyota did, well TRD in specific, to make this a TRD Camry. Now the reason I'm doing it in here is because it's very windy and I also don't have a specific moment in my videos that I think I can mention a lot of this stuff. So I'm going to mention it now, and then as we go throughout the video, there will be more things that TRD did to this car that you'll find out as we go along. But just to name a few to kind of get your appetite going, here's what TRD did. First thing is they got rid of the moonroof. You can't get a moonroof as an option on this car at all. It helps with the structural rigidity. After that, TRD lowered this car by ½ an inch. They fitted it with stiffer shocks, TRD specific valving, rebound springs, new bump stops, stiffer front and rear stabilizer bars. There's some special things going on with the wheels and brakes, which I'll talk about in the exterior. Tires as well, I'll talk about that in the exterior. There's something special going on in the trunk. And this car has 3 additional body braces underneath the car, as well as a retuned steering rack. And that's pretty much going to be the extent of it. Everything else you guys will find out right now. All right, everyone, into the windiness, but let's go ahead and check out this Camry TRD. Now let's go ahead and jump into the price. So as is, this is $32,895. Even though that is a little high, this is still the cheapest way to get into a V6 Camry. I mean, obviously without going like used. Brand new, this is the cheapest way to get into a V6 powered Camry. And I think that was pretty smart on Toyota's end, because the cheapest model means you can get into it for less, and you also get the sportiest version. If you want something more comfortable, a little bit more opulent, I guess you could say, that's what you're gonna go to, like the XSE for. Because this has all that crazy suspension and chassis components, as you guys will see later, it may or may not translate well as a family sedan. But this red and black two-tone scheme is where the money is at, you guys. This thing is beautiful, and I love this red paint coat. It looks so, so good. During the day, at night, it just gives a really rich tone, especially when paired with all the black accents. If you love that color coordination thing going on, this has it in spades, especially if you get it in the red once again. Now, as you come to the front, there's nothing super specific about the front of the Camry TRD. The only difference is going to be this lower splitter right here. Hopefully I can get you guys a better angle of it. There we go. But yeah, there's your front splitter, a little bit more aggressive. Other than that, you're going to have all of your functional areas here to feed the radiator. So from here down, all functional, non-functional, non-functional. Now coming to the lights, you have LED lights, but you're not going to have like the LED daytime running light that you have on the XSE. You're not going to have LED turn signals, but the lights still look great at night. Then as you come to the middle badge, it's glossed over because you still come with all of your adaptive cruise, things like that. You'll see that once we hop inside. Love the hood lines on here. They fit the car, they look aggressive, and it's just a nice design feature. Now, as we come down to the wheels, we already talked about all the suspension tuning and things like that. So let's go ahead and get into the wheels and brakes. So these are lighter wheels. They're roughly 3 pounds lighter on each corner. They're TRD specific, and they're matte black. They're also wider than an XSE, and then the brakes are gonna be 12.9 inches instead of 11.9 inches. Yeah, because they're 1 full inch bigger than an XSE. You also have a retuned braking feel, so the brake pedal should feel a little bit better. And they're supposed to come with Bridgestone Potenza summer tires, but for whatever reason, mine has Michelin tires. Don't know why they did that, but yeah, this is the one that Toyota sent to me, so there you go. You also have this blacked out side skirt with like this red pinstripe going underneath. You can see from the side it's decently functional. I'm sure it does something, but I don't imagine it does a whole lot. Blacked out mirror caps. Then as you come back, the side profile is definitely my favorite. It's just a sharp looking sedan. Then as we come to the back, here's the most controversial part of this car, that wing. Vote up here, let me know what you guys think of this wing. Believe it or not, in person, it fits. It works in person, and I do quite like it. Definitely looks pretty aggressive, fits the styling of the car. You guys can see how it has that dip right there. Well, hopefully you can see that's got that dip right there. Blacked out Camry badge here. TRD badge coming down here. Then you're gonna have this aggressive diffuser coming down here, and then you have your TRD chrome tipped catback exhaust, which we're gonna go ahead and take a listen to. Alright you guys, so here is your key for the Toyota Camry. It's going to have your lock, your unlock, trunk release, panic at the back, and then behind that it's going to say Camry with this like gloss black. Pretty simplistic key. Now obviously you can hit the button to lock and unlock the car, but if you go up to the door handle right here, you are going to have this touch sensitive area. You basically just put your thumb over that. That's going to lock it, and there's a touchpad behind here. Put your hand there, and that's going to unlock the car. Alright, so once the door is open, it's just a black interior. It's going to have red contrasting going throughout the inside. That's what's going to let you know that this is a TRD. And then starting at the door, it's very basic. So you're going to have just a bunch of plastic here on the door. I don't think there's any leather located anywhere here. So this is sort of soft plastic. You've got this like metal piece going here with your handle, but you guys can see it's actually pretty flimsy. The whole thing just moves up like that. This is hard plastic. This is not super comfortable to put your arm on, just really hard like rubber. You're gonna have this matte plastic here with your window controls, mirror controls, door locks. You're going to have a little bit of storage space located down here. I have my wallet wedged in there. It's barely big enough to hold a bottle. If the bottle's too tall, it won't fit. So it has to be like an average size water bottle, and that's pretty much what's gonna fit inside here. Speaker located right there. You're gonna have your aluminum pedals, which I do love the fact this has aluminum pedals. You have your Camry TRD branded floor mats, and I apologize that they're a little dirty, but you do have the red piping going along the outside of that as well. As far as your seats, you have this red basically inserts right here in the middle. I think it looks pretty cool. That's gonna go up, and then as you go up the seat, you have more red stitching, this red line there in the middle, and then it's gonna say TRD located at the top, and you also have these cool red seat belts, which I like. But let's go ahead and hop in and we'll check out the rest of the car. Okay, so shutting the door on the TRD. Decent shut, pretty solid shut. Didn't hear anything rattle or anything like that. Now here's a wider view of the interior before I start everything up. Start stop button is going to be located right back here. Foot on the brake, and you're gonna push that to start. And there we have it. So starting with the steering wheel, same steering wheel design that you get on every other Camry. The biggest giveaway is that it has red stitching located right here, which is pretty cool. Toyota badge in the middle, over to the right. All of your cruise control settings here. You're gonna have your previous, next, different modes, AM, FM, XM, things like that. Over to the left, you have more media commands. So voice commands, volume, phone commands, back, and this is going to be to control this little screen right here. So very simple to switch through here. and it'll basically show you everything that you need to see. And then you have these gauges, which are, I feel like they're a little bit more red than usual. I don't know, maybe it's just me. It's been a while since I've been in this generation Camry, but they're really simplistic. Over to the left, you have your tach. Over to the right, your speedometer, as well as your fuel gauge, and then water temp over here. So really simplistic. Now, as you come over here off to the side, you're gonna have more buttons, and these buttons are going to be for automatic high beams, traction, trunk release, fuel. You're gonna have your trip odometer here, and then your interior illumination located right there. This is still hard plastic with a little bit of softer plastic and then some molded in stitching going right there. Underneath here, you do have a little cubby, but it's not lined in like felt or anything. So what that means is if you put coins in here, you're gonna hear them rattling around, and it's gonna make all this little noise while you're driving. And I just don't put anything in there unless it's like a wallet, which even then, my wallet right here doesn't quite fit. So you can probably use that to put other things like your key in, maybe something like that. Now as you come up, the dash is going to be all plastic here, but it is soft, so you don't have to deal with like cracking issues in the summer or anything like that. No head-up display in the TRD, you cannot get that. It's just a one-option vehicle, so as you see it right now is how it's going to come equipped no matter what. I think your only choices are color options, and that's basically it. Hazards, vents, you're gonna have, I do actually like the design that Toyota did with this generation Camry. Unfortunately, a lot of the materials just don't feel very high quality, but for the most part, it's decent. Then you come to your touchscreen, which is a little bit smaller than something you'd get in like an XSE, but it still does have Apple CarPlay, so you guys can see that right there. That's basically the saving grace of this setup. If it didn't have Apple CarPlay, I think that would probably put me off to buying the car in general, just because, I mean, the system's pretty good, it works okay, but it's just not the most responsive, and having Apple CarPlay is just so much easier. I'm also not upset about the fact that this doesn't have the upgraded JBL sound system. I love listening to music, I love high quality sound, so it is a bummer you can't get that on this model. Now as you come down, you have single zone climate control, you don't have dual zone, and you can adjust that just right here. All of your different zones, front, rear defrost, recycling, things like that. I actually like this red stitching going here. This material here feels pretty good, and then this like interesting silver weave is going to go all the way and fold in right there. Now as you come down here, you have a little tray here. Now in the upgraded trims, this is going to be a, sorry, move this back. This is going to be a wireless charging pad in upgraded trims. And then you're going to have a 12 volt right back here, a USB, that one's gonna be for Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Actually I take that back, this does not have Android Auto, it just has Apple CarPlay. Push that back, you have money, yay! But we are going to have more storage space in there. Your shifter, which has TRD on top, and it's going to have red stitching. I love this shifter. This is probably the highest quality thing in the car. It's like this super thick, fat shifter, like something you'd find in like a TRD Pro Tacoma or a Tundra. It's just real beefy, feels really solid. Like, listen to that. And I love the way it has this little separation between the two pieces of leather and then this like aluminum piece right here. Now, I'm not sure if this is real leather. Usually Toyota uses soft tex, and especially on the seats, it's gonna be fake leather. I'm not sure about everything else going throughout the cabin, but you have the shift boot here with more red stitching. Also, you throw this into reverse, backup camera. The guidance lines do not move with the steering wheel, unfortunately. And you don't have 360. Cup holders are good. You can definitely fit a bottle of pre-workout or a jar of vodka in here. So that's very useful. And then coming right back here, you are going to have your eco, normal, and sport buttons, brake holds, electronic parking brake right there. Nice big armrest. You can definitely fit your arm, 2 arms on top of there. Lift that up and you have more storage space. Another USB, I'm sorry, 2 more USBs, and that's pretty much going to be the extent of it. Lockable glove box. Your mirror up here, which is not auto dimming, so you have to do the old school flip right there. You do have LED lights up here though, so that is nice to see. You're also going to have your sunglass holder, which has a rubber padding right back here, but it's not going to have anything here. but that should keep your sunglasses nice and safe. And then you're gonna have your vanity mirror right over here, but you don't have a light. And it doesn't do the back and forth thing, you just have this. So if you guys are a fan of the straight pipes, that'll definitely be a fail right there. But either way, that's pretty much gonna be it for the front. If I didn't mention it already, you do have your paddles located right back here. And they feel kind of plasticky, so very video game-like. And that's pretty much gonna be it for the front, guys. So let's go ahead, hop in the back seat, and we'll check out the room. All right, so sitting in the back of the Camry TRD. Now, shutting the door, pretty nice solid shut. I do like that. Now, first and foremost, this is the cheapest way to get into the V6 Camry. I already mentioned that, but just reiterating it again, because what that means, especially for the back seat, is that you get cheaped out of a lot of things. So you don't have any vents back here. You just have this little area, which is pretty much horizontal, which means if you put anything in there and the person accelerates, it's more than likely to fly out. You have a pretty small hump, so you can definitely fit 3 people back here. That shouldn't be an issue. Headroom is good. Even with my hair up, I still have about an inch above my hair, which is pretty good. Feet room is great. Knee room is excellent back here, especially with this set to my height. I'm 6 feet tall, and this is where I would sit in the passenger side of things. And it's just really good and very roomy, very spacious. Even arm room is great. You don't feel cramped. It doesn't feel very narrow. It feels really wide, and I do like that. You don't have cup holders either. There's no cup holders back here. So you only have this little area in the door that you can put maybe a bottle. Other than that, you cannot put anything else in here. You also have a little arm area here to grab, or grab handle here. An area to put dry cleaning, and that's pretty much gonna be it, you guys. I mean, you've got these cool red seat belts, but that doesn't mean much when you're sitting in the back seat. So let's go ahead and check out the trunk space. All right, so coming to the trunk of the Camry TRD. Also, I apologize about the wind. It's just mega windy here today. But coming back here, you've got a really good amount of space. It's really wide, so getting things in is not an issue at all. Now, the rear seats in here don't fold down anymore. In a normal Camry, you can fold down the rear seats, but in the TRD, they actually got rid of the folding seat function because there's a V-brace there that's going to enhance the structural rigidity of this vehicle. So Toyota decided to do that instead of giving you guys more space here in the back. But either way, it's still a good amount of room. As you guys will see in just a bit, I've got a few of my things in here, but I'm actually gonna take this on a road trip, and we're gonna fit tons of stuff in here, and it shouldn't be an issue. But underneath here, you are going to have a donut. You're gonna have all of your jack assembly equipment, and that's pretty much it. You have little hooks here on the sides. If you have groceries, you can hang your bags right there. And you also have a little area here to get out if you get locked inside the trunk. So let's go ahead and see what's under the hood. All right, so coming under the hood of the Camry TRD. So there's no changes to the engine. Unfortunately, that's the one thing a lot of people were hoping for on this car, but it still makes a good amount of power. I mean, you're talking 301 horsepower and 267 pound-feet of torque from a naturally aspirated 3.5 liter V6. That's the most horsepower, I believe, in the segment that's not like a full-on performance variant of a vehicle. It's, you know, a bulletproof engine. It makes really good power. You can rev it out, and it does a pretty good job. But let's go ahead and get this on the road and see how this does. All right, you guys, so we're about to take this on a road trip. So right now I'm in Benbrook, and we're going to road trip all the way to San Antonio. And it's gonna be me, my wife, 2 of our friends, and we're gonna have a full trunk back here. So right now, here's just the stuff that we have. So there's just our bags right there. Obviously their bag's gonna go here. This is, at the end of the day, still a Camry. It's still a family vehicle. So we're going to see how this does on a road trip, see what the MPG is and things like that. So let's go ahead and see what the range is right now. I'm gonna reset everything and then we're gonna head out. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this screen. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and reset the trip monitor. I'm gonna hold this little button right here. There we go, so trip is reset from right now. I'm gonna scroll down, hold OK to reset my average MPG, so OK. I'm gonna go down some more. So right now it's saying we have 281 miles on what is a full tank. That may change, so Toyota says this will do up to 31 on the highway, but we're gonna have 4 people and a full car. So I suspect that to be lower. I'm gonna say maybe 28. That's just my guess right now. Maybe 29. And it's about a 16-gallon fuel tank, so you know, that time 16, that's somewhere over 400 miles of range is what we should get. So we should get almost double that, and we'll see what the actual numbers say. But let's go ahead and get on the road. All right, you guys, so we're here at Buc-ee's, just stopped, and the car did pretty well. So let's go ahead and see what kind of numbers we have going on here. So far, we've traveled about 138.7 miles. I've been averaging 31.4, and it looks like we've used right at a quarter of a tank. So it looks like, if I scroll through here, 193 miles left. We've driven 138.7, so it's already better than what the estimate was before. But anyways, we're about halfway there. We're gonna finish our trip, and we're gonna go ahead and get back on the road. Alright, so driving the Camry TRD on the highway. So we're on our way to San Antonio. We just stopped at Buc-ee's, and yeah, so you guys can probably hear through the video, there's a decent amount of road noise coming in. It's not the most insulated cabin, but it's not as bad as you guys may think. Honestly, this GoPro makes it seem a lot worse than it really is. It's definitely not as bare sounding in person. The other thing I do like is, I like the fact you can actually hear the exhaust back here. So if you get on it a little bit, got a good little bit of a exhaust note, but you do have a little bit of drone coming in at lower speed, so between like 50, 60 miles an hour. The view out of the back is good. The spoiler doesn't get in the way at all. Nice big windshield. I do love how this window actually goes forward so far that you don't need like that little quarter panel window right here. And it just drives really good. All right, you guys, so we're at the Airbnb here, and it's the next morning. I was super tired by the time we got here. It was like a 4.5 hour trip, but anyways, hopping into the Camry, I'm gonna show you guys what the final numbers were. Okay, so taking the trip, we drove a total of 312.9 miles, and the average MPG was 29.6. There we go. And then if I go down, we have about 54 miles left. So you're talking about 360 miles total on this tank, because we are almost at empty. So if you were to drive it a little bit better, if you were to be a little bit more, I guess, cautious with your speed and things like that, you can probably get close. You can probably get a little bit over 400 miles of range. Now, over outside of Austin, the speed limit out there is between 80 and 85 miles per hour is the posted speed limit. So you're doing between 85 and 90 at the most legally, which is just crazy. And yeah, so that used up a lot of fuel, and that probably made my MPG drop below that 31 miles per gallon mark. If it weren't for that, I think we'd be still cruising around there, and we'd easily be getting around 400 miles of range. But either way, that's pretty much it for this like road trip part of the video. I'm not going to record on the way back because we're going to be rushed for time on the way back, and I don't want to have to stop and do the recording part. But once I get back home, I'm going to do driving around town, and we're going to see how this thing handles. All right, so back on my home roads, and I've had about 3 days to think about how this car really drives, how I really feel. So let's start with handling. Going into this corner here, the handling is really, like, look at that. Pushes out a little bit. And then it pulls so strong. That's the good thing about having this V6, is it pulls really well. The turning radius, however, is very bad. I mean, that's not good at all. So yeah, the handling's good. Now compared to something like, let's say the Honda Accord 2.0 turbo, you got the Kia Optima, you have the Mazda 6 turbo. This is definitely the best handling out of those. It also rides rougher than all of those, so that's your trade-off. But in terms of a mid-sized Japanese or foreign sedan, this takes the cake in terms of handling. I mean, just look at this. Like, that is so impressive. That's so good. This is super satisfying if you live in a curvy area. If not, then you won't feel the need for this kind of a car. You can probably hear my voice just then. It's just so rough, it's so bumpy, and it's not really what you want in a family sedan. Now the paddles work really well. I mean, listen to these downshifts, ready? Woo! I love how it doesn't upshift at redline. It just makes this like this burble and then it'll shift. It's really cool. But yeah, the downshifts are crisp, rev matching. Now the shifts could be faster, but I mean, they're plenty quick. But the thing is that this transmission has to get warmed up. And this V6 pulls strong, you guys. I mean, this is legitimately a kind of fast car. You know, it's not slow by any means. Even if you throw it into automatic mode right now, it's pretty quick. I have it in sport mode. I've had it in sport mode since I started this part of the drive. But let's see how it does from a dead stop. Ready? Tire spin, there we go. And that's 60. That's not bad. I mean, Toyota says this will do around the same 5.8 seconds. I definitely believe it. I think it could probably do a little bit better. I'd say this is about a 5.5 second car, without a doubt. But in terms of being an everyday family sedan, it's just not it. It's not what you want to be in, you know, when you have other people in the car. The entire trip, or at least on the way back was a little bit worse because I'm already tired from being in San Antonio for a few days. I'm ready to get home. So the drive just feels, you just notice things more, if that makes sense. On the way there, you're all excited. You're like, man, we're gonna have a nice little weekend vacation. And you don't really mind as much. But when you're ready to get home, when you're tired, you know, all those little bumps, the loud noises coming from like the tire hash on the road, all that really starts to get to you. And then you start to realize this is an awful family sedan when it comes to comfort, when it comes to just the livability aspect of it. I mean, don't get me wrong, Toyota did an incredible job with the handling of this car. Like, guys, I cannot stress that enough. This is not just a badge job. I mean, the handling on here is so incredible, you guys. I cannot stress that enough. I'm on the highway going about right below 70, maybe 68, 69. And if I were to do like a left, right like that, it's so stable. These people behind me probably think I'm crazy. But that just goes to show how stable this car is. It just has such a rigidity to it, and it's awesome. It drives incredibly well, but it completely gets rid of what you would expect in a family sedan. Okay, everyone, so let's wrap this video up. Ultimate question is, would I buy this Camry? And would I recommend someone else to buy this Camry? No, I wouldn't buy it. Yes, I would recommend it, but under very specific circumstances. So this is a great sedan. It handles so incredibly well. The brake feel is the best in class. It reminds me a lot of like a GT86. And it offers a V6 with an awesome sounding exhaust. Now the downsides are, let's say something like a Honda Accord Sport. You can get that in a manual. It handles almost as good as this. It puts the power down a little bit better than this does, and it's more damped on the inside. You don't have a ton of road noise coming in. The other downside with this is that if you have more than one person, it's not very comfortable for your passengers. There's not a lot of space in the back in terms of where to put things. You don't have cup holders, you don't have vents, you have a little bit of drone coming from the exhaust. You don't have the creature comforts you would get in like an XSE. And yeah, I don't know. I just think as an everyday, it doesn't really fit the bill. I would get this if I was single, but I don't think a single person would really go for a 4-door mid-size family sedan. So it's a toss-up. If you can handle dealing with this on an everyday basis, and if you have other people in your family, they can handle it, I'd say go for it. But if not, you're going to be really disappointed in how little of a family vehicle this still is after TRD does their thing to it. But anyways, guys, that's going to wrap up my review. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think of this car. Would you buy it? Would you pass? Would you get an Accord Sport? What would you get? And if you like this review, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content. I'll see you guys in the next review. Y'all take care. Bye.